gamers, ladies and gents, or whatever you identify by. We're going to be going on a rant today. But also, if I die, the video ends, as you could probably read from the title. I'm going to try to not die right now. Go, my child. But essentially, my rant is Gen Z, right? Or not Gen Z, I'm Gen Z. Gen Alpha, right? I want to start this off by saying I'm not mad at the parents, okay? Or I'm mad at the parents and not the children. Children didn't do anything wrong. This is just the content they were given, right? If these kids are clearly not smart enough to get this content on their own, right? Someone clearly is putting this content right in front of them, right? And that's what I'm against, right? Clearly these kids, they can't. They don't, how am I going to say this? They're not the ones getting the content, right? Because these kids are clearly not smart enough to figure this out yet, right? They need someone to put it on for them, right? So why are the parents putting it on for them if they really do think it's so bad? Right? The parents should not be putting this content on if they don't think it's good. Correct? So then why are a bunch of these kids on TikTok and Lanky Box and Cocomelon or whatever, right? Someone is clearly giving them what they want. So these parents need to not give in, right, to their children's demands. Don't give the kid the iPad, is what I'm saying. It's not necessary, is what I'm saying. You don't need to give it to them, right? Sorry, I'm focusing up. But essentially, the parents are giving the kids this stuff. And if they really think it's so bad, then why is it still everywhere? Why am I still seeing it then? Why am I still seeing all these parents giving their little kids their iPads if they're really so concerned about all the attention span, right? I have a good attention span, right? I make videos. I have to have a good attention span to do this, right? Because if I didn't, damn it, I messed it up. I didn't have my other railgun equipped. Because if I didn't, I couldn't be able to make these videos. You know that. You watch my content, you know I focus on things. I think ULTRAKILL is kind of destroying my attention span, if I'm going to be honest. Because it's like super fast paced. But that's besides the point, right? If they're really worried about their kids' attention span, why do we keep seeing little kids with the iPads, right? In my opinion, you should at least wait till they're 8. Because that's like when I got my iPad, but I stopped using it like immediately because I play on a flaming computer. I play like freaking IO games. But it's better than what the little kids have now, right? Is what I'm saying. We should get the kids, and also I'm not saying brain rot's bad, right? The stuff that we used to watch, not my generation, but my age used to watch, it's still just as cursed, right? But what I'm saying is, it's not that bad, to be honest. I mean, Skibidi Toilet is bad, okay? Because it's turned into its whole thing, and there's like a bunch of things. But that's besides the point, right? Parents are supplying the kids with the iPads, and then they're putting on these shows to teach them, right? That's how they're getting parented. No one's actually teaching them how to do things. And that's what I'm against. You should parent your kid. Don't let the iPad do it, is what I'm saying. Don't let the iPad teach your kid. It's not good. It really isn't. You should know better. You had the kid. Be a good parent, is what I'm saying. And once again, I'm not mad at the kids. It's not their fault. The parents are giving them the content, right? Not the kid. The kid is not clearly not smart enough. Can you? The kids are clearly not smart enough to comprehend how to do that because they're on the iPad all day, right? Okay. I need to plug my mouse in, gamers. I'm sorry for the distraction. But essentially, you can teach your kid on your own, right? Bedtime stories, those are great. Bedtime stories are actually peak, right? Like Goodnight Moon. That's such a peak story. Quiet Little Bunny, oh, I love that one. Because my granddad, who sadly passed away, gave that book to me, and along with a plushie, and it's amazing. It's a great book, right? Or like, I really like this one. It's relatively new. It's called The Quilt Maker. It's about essentially, it's actually a really good life lesson. It's about this king, okay, and he's super greedy, right? He has everything. He wants everyone to give them their presents on his birthday, right? Like every single person, right? But then this lady, okay, she makes quilts, right? Hence the quilt maker. But since and the king, and she gives it to the poor, right, to help out, right? But the king doesn't like this. The king wants a quilt to the quilts to himself, right? Or the king wants the quilts, but the quilt maker is like, I'm not gonna give you a quilt until you're nice, until you're a good person. But the king sends her, like, puts her on like islands and like a bear with They play a bunch of games, right? Or not play games. The lady makes dinner for the bear, and they're friends now, right? But essentially, and she gets like put on an island, and she befriends birds and teaches, and then they carry her away, right? But eventually, the king learns that he does really need to, he needs to help people, so where am I going? He gives all away stuff, and he feels real good. And then eventually the quilt maker gives one to him, and he's super happy, right? And he's happy that to help people now, right? He's not greedy. And it's a great life lesson. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. I highly recommend. Please read that to your children if you're watching this. In however many years, please read it to your kid. It's a good book. They'll learn a lot. But essentially, yeah, like, bedtime stories are peak. Like, let me look at my bookshelf. What other ones do I have? Dr. Seuss books, definitely good. Oh, if you feed a mouse a cookie, or if you take a mouse to the movie, those are really good ones. I mean, this depends. Ferdinand is also really good. This highly depends on your morals and what you're going to give your child to read. But please do your research before you give this to anyone. The Giving Tree. I'm not going to summarize it. You kind of have to know. But essentially, if you know, you know. You should probably do a little bit of research on if you really want to show that to your kid. Because it has some bad morals in it. I mean, it's not that great. Shelf Surfing was not a great person, is what I'm saying, right? By God, he knew how to write a book. And that's what I'm saying. You should always give your kid storybooks. It's what I grew up on. It's what you should grow up on. There's a lot of YouTubers that I used to watch. Dan TDM, dude. Dan TDM was peak content for me when I was little, especially like his old videos. I really like those. They were so fire. Like the Dr. Trioris, and that's all. I remember Dr. Trioris. And Grim. I can't believe he's bringing it back. It's making me so happy. But it's like, give your kid content. And I mean like good content. If you're going to put them on the iPad at all. What channels did I grew up with Dan TDM, that's for sure. Let me think. I'm thinking of more. But you should definitely give your kids Dan TDM. He's a peak YouTuber. Definitely not Mr. Beast with everything that's been happening. But yeah. But like but also like you should definitely let me think. I'm thinking of a bunch of channels I grew up on. This is kind of cringy, but like all the Minecraft parody songs, those were good. Stampy Longhead, or is it? Yeah, I think it is Stampy Longhead. That's a good one. He's great. Popular MMOs, peak channel. You should definitely, probably not actually, but you could if you wanted to. Like, it's a good channel. It's old videos though. If you know, you know. But essentially, you should either give your kid books, like little books to read, like the little golden books or whatever the hell they were called, and give that to your kid 100%, right? But also give him like Dan TDM. Give him actual content, not Skibbity Toilet or whatever the hell is new in the freaking Ring Rant like universe. Oh, 100% don't give him TikTok. That's like, I know it's like the stupid presidential thing. It's like, or not presidential, political thing. We're thinking about banning TikTok, but legitimately don't give your kid TikTok. It'll ruin your attention span. You should always give your kid long form videos when they're younger. And also games, right? On top of games, Red Ball 4 Adventures, fire game. Definitely get it for your kid. I grew up on that. Let me think more. 100% like, definitely, and I mean definitely give them like, what is it? Don't give them fast-paced content. Give them slow stuff so they can really understand. I loved mythology when I was little. I mean, I still do. I grew up with a book called Tales of the Gods. I'm pretty sure I have it on me. It's like Stories of the Gods, right? And it's like kind of a combination between Greek and Roman mythology. But essentially, it's really good. It's a good story, right? I grew up with mythology. TED Ed is a really good channel, right? Not TED Talk, TED Ed, right? A really good channel. You should definitely check them out. The mythology videos is what I grew up on, personally. I highly recommend the mythology videos. They're very good. They're very informative. They taught me a lot. I don't want to seem like the freaking superior here, but I have a really high vocabulary, right? I have a very good vocabulary, right? 12th grade, and I'm not that old, right? I mean, I'm old enough to make a YouTube channel, but I'm not that old, right? I feel the fact that I read so many books when I was little really did help. And I didn't read, I mean, like, okay. I don't know if this is for any of you either, but if we have the iReady diagnostic at my school, right? Very, very painful, right? Very annoying. And for a lot of things, they would qualify me as rushing for a lot of my work. But I wasn't. It's just easy. Like, and still now, I'm getting in trouble for doing homework in class because I've literally nothing else to do. I have completed everything for the day. I mean, I'm not in the super, super duper advanced classes, but I'm in advanced classes, and I mean, currently Spanish is hard, right? But it is my first year of Spanish, right? So I'm that's fine. But essentially, give your kid good books, right? Can't believe I'm still on this rant. Give your kid good books, redo them. Bedtime stories are good. You should probably always give them like stories, like actual stories. And I'm not talking Tortoise and the Hare story. I mean that's a good one, right? So it's a good story, right? But slow and steady, if I'm gonna be honest, slow and steady never wins the race, right? Or at least most of the time. In a lot of things. I mean, if we're talking a legitimate race, right? Like an actual competition of speed, slow and steady will never win. I mean, I guess steady. You want to be fast and steady, right? But not slow and steady. Because if you want to be fast and steady, then you're good, right? But if you're slow, you're not gonna catch up. But if you're fast and steady, you're gonna catch up or not catch up, but you're gonna be in front, and you're gonna keep your endurance, so you won't run out of breath or whatever, right? So essentially, you're gonna wanna. I don't know why I'm on a bunch of rants today. Okay, I mean like actually full like super freaking locked in mode, and I'm just talking, right? But essentially, don't give your kid give your slow and steady never wins the race, right? I mean, if we're talking about a race of like math, like if we're talking about what is it called? If we're talking about math, right? If we're doing a test, slow and steady will win. It will win. Right? But then we're gonna get into the category of actual races, right? Not like okay. That don't clip me on that. That sounds bad. You will lose. Right? Oh, I hate this level. But you're not gonna win if you're slow. I know that sounds bad, but it's like, that's the worst life lesson I think I've ever heard. Aesop fables are good. Probably not, in my opinion. I didn't really like Webster's, what is it called? Am I stupid? Wait a minute, Charlotte's Web, yeah. Charlotte's Web, right? Read Charlotte's Web. It's good, right? But it's like, that's never gonna happen in real life. That never will happen. It's never gonna. Right? So don't even, like, it doesn't matter, right? I know Aesop is, like, famous for that. That's, like, his entire jam. But it's like, Aesop was... Give him, like... Okay, this is stupid. But once your kid gets older, if they do start liking, like, horror. Like, I grew up into horror because I had FNAF, right? I grew up into FNAF. And like Bendy and the Ink Machine. Still love that game. It's very good. But I grew up into that, so I love horror, right? I grew up with the horror stuff. Give them like horror books. Like there's a lot. Like there's so many. I don't know if I have no mouth on a screen counts, but I feel like it does. But that's for like way older, right? It's a good story, but you gotta be a little older for that, because you know. It's really cursed. If you know. If you know, you know. But essentially, give them books. Give them, like, informational videos. I love dinosaurs, right? I love dinosaurs. So you know what I'd watch? I'd watch the cool dinosaur videos. Dan, the frickin'... Is it Dan the Dino? I think it is. I didn't really watch Dora the Explorer. Dora the Explorer kind of sucked. I remember I have like a faint memory of watching or playing like a Dora the Explorer point and click game at the old library or the public library in my town. Right? It's fire, to be honest. But give them games. Like, I'm not joking. Don't give them Bioshock. Bioshock is a fire game, don't get me wrong. I just don't recommend it for kids. I don't know why I'm writing this. I can just freaking sprint jump over here like a million times faster. Give them, legitimately, give them old games. Like, older games. Like, I also played Doom. Like, I played the original Doom because I thought it was awesome, right? And that's how I grew up into ULTRAKILL, right? Because it was such a fire series for my little numbskull brain, right? But now I'm insanely smart. I mean, okay, that sounds really bad. I sound like I'm bragging. I'm not. I'm just stating that if you really want to teach your kid, give them good books and read to them, right? And look, I grew up, look, I was read doing rocking chairs for bedtime stories. Like the freaking, I'm not even joking, like one of the like, in legitimately a dinosaur blanket. And it was amazing. I grew up on that. And that was like the stuff for me when I was little. That was like everything to me. I still miss that because I'm like hella nostalgic because it's like great times, right? But you gotta read read Tumble Bumble. Oh, what a peak book. I remember one about like, I forget what it was, but it's something about bugs. And that's why I like bugs now, because they're super awesome. And I remember reading a book a long time ago where this guy, it was like a big spider web and there's a bunch of different type of bugs. I also remember reading a book about sharks, and now I'm super knowledgeable in sharks because I love sharks. I think sharks are awesome. I think sharks are probably the coolest thing ever. They're so misunderstood, and I feel so bad for them because they're just little guys. But like, you're gonna learn, right? As you grow up. But you should always learn the good way. You should 100% learn. How long is the runtime on this? I have no clue. You should 100% always read your kid bedtime stories. It's the only good form of content they should be reading or listening or watching when they were little. When they're little, right? That's because I used to. That's my opinion personally. Bedtime stories, mythology maybe. I mean, some mythology is not great, but like, I never was a real fan of Disney, right? Kind of hated Disney. The only Disney movie I probably watched when I was little. I still haven't watched Alice in Wonderland, legitimately. I haven't watched it yet. Because I'm just so, I legitimately think it's probably the only Disney movie I've ever watched. I've watched a couple, right? But like the name brand ones, like Elsa or Frozen. Why don't I call it Elsa? It's Frozen. I've watched Elsa. And I've watched like Inside Out. And that's Pixar. Those are like the only things I've watched. I grew up on Gremlins, dude. I watched horror. Okay, this is like if you know, you know. There's a series called The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? And for some reason, it was really scary for me, right? And I hated it, right? So when there's a scary part, I'd literally lean my body over the back of the couch and just plug my ears, right? So I couldn't hear because I was spooked, right? Then, I developed into horror because I'd watch FNAF videos when I was little, before bed. And then my brain was like, this is good content. This is good. These are good. And that's how I got into horror, really. I mean, whatever things you want to get your kid into when you're little, when they're little, I'd never do that, right? Never live through your child. I hate the people who do dance pageants with their kids and they force them, because it's like you're living through your kids, right? That's not a good thing. You should never live through your kids. It's stupid, right? Live through yourself. If you're really disappointed with yourself, you can always change, right? You can always be a better person. You'll never be you, ever. No one is ever them. This is kind of a stupid philosophy that I have. But you are not you, right? You're not you. This is like some dissociative types thing. But okay. You are not you, right? This is not some stupid thing about like the Matrix, right? And everything's a lie. I don't believe in the Matrix. I mean, it's like it's the funny thing, right? But you're not you, right? You are a flesh puppet, right? You are your brain. You are not your body, is what I'm saying. You are not your body. You're not, right? You're the nerves. You're the brain. You're the electrical signals that go through like a pound-and-a-half chunk of meat that somehow functions as a living thing, right? And we learn off that, right? People do generative AI or deep AI learning. That's what humans are. We are basically, it's like we're not AI, right? But we built AI after us, basically, kind of, is what I think. Like, deep learning AI or deep reinforcement learning AI is humans, right? That's how people should be taught, right? If you're bad, punishment. If you're good, reward, right? My parents personally didn't believe in grounding people, right? Because when you ground someone, they're not learning what they did wrong. They're just learning that they if they do that, they'll get in trouble. They don't know why it's wrong, right? So you should always tell them what they did wrong and then give them like a punishment. If you really are giving them games, take away the games. If they like books. I mean, it's like the opposite of my morals. But get rid of the books. Get rid of what they don't like or what they like for like a couple hours. Because I understand. Like it's unbearable sometimes to not have what you like, right? But you should never just spank them. Spanking and like beating is the worst thing I could ever think of, right? Because you're not teaching them anything, you're just giving them pain, right? And that's not okay. I gotta really get parried now. I haven't parried that in a while. I'm gonna die here, aren't I? Can't believe I'm gonna die today, man. I'm joking, I would never. Inky. Oh, yeah, Inky's a man. Yeah, essentially, we are. God damn it. We are essentially. It's just like a stupid thing I believe in, but it's like we're not ourselves, right? We're not our bodies. We're just the nerves, right? And that's really weird to think about. I know, but it's true. You really are. You're not you, is what I'm saying. You are the electrical signals in the lump that is your brain. We are a electric lump of flesh piloting a bone mech suit with flesh armor. Isn't that insane to think about? We're not us, right? We are, and also, I really do want to be a philosopher. Like, it's insane to think about, like, these things. And I love that, right? But that's what I'm on about, right? It's incomprehensible. And that's why it's so intriguing to me. The incomprehensibility makes me feel weird. And that's why I'm so intrigued in that, because I want to make sense, right? I've always been one to ask questions, right? Oh, and also when I was little, I would get in trouble at school almost every day. Not because I was a bad student, but because I didn't follow the standards, right? There's always the standard of do what you're told when an adult tells you, right? But I would never do anything unless there's a reason, right? But if I gave a supporting reason that contradicts what you're saying, and that makes more sense in my brain, you're incorrect, right? Or not? That's not how I should put it. I would think everything has a reason, right? So I would try to get reasons for everything, and that's why I know little kids always ask why. But that was me for a solid, like, 10 years, right? Because I would always be asking these questions, right? I'd always be like, why? Why is this? I actually got in trouble, like, really bad. Like, they locked me in a room because I wouldn't put on my coat. Because I thought, because it was too hot outside, right? Because it's pajama day and I had, like, fleece pajamas on. And it was, like, already, like, 50, I don't know why, or, like, 60, so I don't know why they made our coat. But I had a logical conclusion in my brain that I would be dehydrated. Because I was in the hospital before that for being dehydrated. And I was real sick, like vomiting everywhere. And I had to be in the hospital for like 3 days. Not fun stuff, right? So I was thoroughly convinced I would like get super dehydrated. So I was like, I'm not going to put this on. But they got super mad at me. And my teacher literally like pulled my locker, or not my locker, my coat out of my locker. And like handed it to me. And I put it back because like I have a logical explanation for my reasons, right? My reasoning. So I was a little angry. So, but they wouldn't let me go outside for recess until I put my coat on, which is absurd, right? So, you want to know what happened. It's super funny, right? I kind of ran downstairs because I really wanted to go out to recess, right? Who doesn't? But what happened is that one of the staffs grabbed me and dragged me to the nurse's room, locked me in that room, and like barricaded the door. And I legitimately was red. Like I looked like a legitimate tomato. And it was pain, right? I was literally shouting for them to call my mom and they wouldn't for like a solid whole 6 minutes. Do you realize how traumatizing that was? And it's like you should never do that. Like that's honestly, I probably could have sued the school for that. Because they're not allowed to touch students unless there's a reasonable suspicion of bad, right? Unless they have an actual idea that the student is going to harm someone, they cannot touch them, right? Or they believe they're a reasonable threat. So they shouldn't have done that, right? That was actually really traumatizing. But I don't talk that a lot to a lot of people, but I feel like it was kind of on topic here. Yeah. So don't do that. Is what I'm saying, basically. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Chat, I don't think I'm gonna die anytime soon. Probably gonna die here, actually. I really hate this room. I really hate everything here. Hey, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna die here. I hate this part. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's the video. Good night, gamers. Think about what I said. Read to your kid. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe, please. I need the analytics, for the love of God, please.